Hey, well, good lunch break, everyone out there. How are you today? I'm here with the amazing Latricia Scriven. We're going to have a little time together, a conversation from the edge. So we just want to begin by inviting anybody who's joining with us. If you want to tell us kind of where you are and how you're feeling today, that would be amazing. We would love to hear that from you. And if you wouldn't mind, you could start a watch party and share this with all your friends. Let them know that you're joining in. We have an amazing innovator, leader, doctor, author, all of the things here with us today. So I promise you, this is going to be a time worth it. Hey, Sam, welcome.
Welcome. Hey, Sam.
Yeah. So everybody, let's get this party started and. Let us know that you're there. We'd love to know that you're there. So I'll begin. The idea here is with Conversations from the Edge is to procure missional wisdom for the whole people of God and to really hear from innovators that have continued to do amazing creative things all through the pandemic and against all odds. And one thing I know about my friend here, that's what she does. So I'm going to begin today as we give people opportunity to jump on there. Hi, Piper. Welcome. I will be firing some questions at Latricia, and then I'm going to invite all of you, if you have questions that you would like to bring, save that for the end. We'll have some Q&A time with her there toward the end. So I'm gonna flip the script a little bit on you today, ma'am, and I'm
okay.
I know you can handle this and just get those brain juices flowing. Okay. I'm going to give you some prompts, and then you respond with whatever comes into your mind.
Okay.
And I have not prepped her for this at all, y'all. So get ready. All right. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. The butterfly, that's old.
The butterfly, that's old. Beautiful down up in my soul.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Not where I was going.
That's a song, isn't it? Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna keep going. The roof is on fire.
We don't need no water. Let the Holy Ghost burn.
Yes. It was all a dream.
But then I woke up and realized it was reality.
Okay. Freestyling it. I was going for Biggie Smalls there, but
that's
cool. I like what you did better. Throw your hands in the air
and praise God like you just don't care.
Okay, that'll work. I'm trying to put you in the worst mood.
In the worst mood. But I want you in your best mood.
Okay. Just remix some Weekend there for us. Okay.
Okay, I'm terrible when it comes to songs, so I just make up my own thing.
I do that too. Like when I don't know the lyrics, I just make them up as I go along. Jill's always on me about that. So, well, that's the M-I crooked letter.
Crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I.
Nice. We just made a little rap. All right, stop.
Now go.
Come on. I was thinking you would know Vanilla Ice. I'm sorry.
Collaborate.
And listen.
Yeah.
Ice is back with a brand new invention. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm much older than you, so that makes sense.
Okay, so let me tell you, Michael. My husband laughs at me all the time because I went through a season of like no music. And so I listened mostly to like gospel music.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know anything. Hey, Jill. But, I try to act down and you just exposed to like the entire world that I'm not as down as I am in my head.
Sorry. No, I think actually what I just exposed is that you're probably a lot more sanctified than I am.
Is that what it is? I don't know.
I think it is. I think it is.
Or that I just don't know lyrics to songs.
That's possible too. So, okay, sorry. All right, Piper saying good luck. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to do a couple of just first instinct responses, okay?
Okay.
Just lightning round. These are just kind of whatever comes out. Don't overthink it. By the way, you got mad freestyle skills, so that was amazing what you did. So pick your favorite: slow dance, shuffle skate, break dance, or twerking. Go.
Shuffle skate.
Yes, I'm a rink rat too. So, favorite president ever?
Me.
Okay, you're okay.
I was the president of the student body in seminary. That counts, right? You didn't say like American president.
See, I should have known. A true
You should have been more specific.
That's good. All right. Favorite saint, theologian, or missionary ever in history?
Saint, theologian, or missionary ever in history? Ooh, that's a tough one. Can we come back to that one?
Sure. Even though it's supposed to be initial, just gut level response, but I'll make exceptions for you.
What if my gut level is just blank? Like,
that's cool. That's cool.
All right.
All right. Idris Elba, kiss him, slap him, or marry him. Go.
Kiss him if I weren't already married.
Okay. Cool. When you are in sweat and stink workout beast mode, is it metal, gangster rap, hip hop, R&B, or pop? Or
gangster rap.
Gangster rap? Okay.
Not really, but that's what came to mind. So it sounds cool.
I was gonna say I should have added the gospel category in there.
I mean, there are gospel gangsters, is what they're actually called. I used to listen to the gospel gangsters.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Well, I have to reevaluate my question. All right. Burritos: chicken, steak, shrimp, or tofu?
Chicken and shrimp together.
Dang.
Why pick one?
Amen. True innovator. All right. Star Wars: Jedi or Sith?
Jedi.
Okay, so you're on the other side of the force. That's cool. We can still be friends, but you fight for the force of good. I like it. Can real Christian community form in digital space? Yes or no?
Yes, and it would take a whole lot of effort and intentionality.
Okay, good. And final one, if you were to have a conversation with one person, living or dead, who would it be? Can't be Jesus.
Right now, Mary.
Mary?
Because Advent, I mean.
Okay, like Mary, like Jesus' mom?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That would be a fascinating conversation.
It would be. It would
All
be.
right. Thank you so much. Everybody give it up for Latricia. Give us some likes, loves, post something in there in the comment section. Yes, that was awesome. Okay. So now, could you give us just a little Cliff Notes version? I know we only have like 30, 45 minutes here of your story and how you came to faith.
How I came to faith? All right. Well, pretty much I grew up as a church girl, Baptist girl. And my daddy was a deacon, a founding deacon of the church that I attended, and it was right around the corner. So I would wake up my brother in the morning and we would walk to Sunday school. And I recall actually when I was 5 years young, I was at Vacation Bible School and they said, who wants to accept Christ and get baptized? Because, you know, we didn't baptize babies in the Baptist church. I was like, me. And so I walked up and they're like, all right, we got to ask your mom though, because you're kind of young. So ever since then, it's been sort of a journey, a work in progress, a go to a place that I will show you. That's my story. Do you want more?
No. I mean, I think I'm just struck. I'm actually happy that the church actually still works.
Yeah, it did. Like, I loved the VBS. I loved the things that we did. I loved the community that we shared. That's where my friends were. We did school together. We did life together. We did laughing together. We got in trouble together. And so, yeah, I was very much a church girl. Yeah.
Hey,
I was a nerdy kind of church girl.
okay. Well, that will lead me forward into some of these next questions. And I just praise God for you, and what an amazing testimony that you have. And I'm grateful for God's work in your life through the church, through the Inherited Church. So your educational journey is extensive and very exciting. Can you share with us each of the degrees you've earned? There's a lot. And each school where you earned them, and each institution where you have taught additionally, and maybe a little bit of history about where you are at Florida A&M now.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I graduated from Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Loved math. And so then I left there and went to grad school at Purdue University, where I got a master's degree in math education and a PhD in educational foundations and administration. And then, after saying I was totally done with school, I went to seminary. And actually, Michael, I didn't go to be in ministry professionally. I went so I wouldn't get kicked out of Sunday school with the kinds of conversations that I wanted to have. So I'm like, I'll just go to seminary. And I went to Gammon Theological Seminary at the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I got a master's of theology.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot of degrees.
Is it? Maybe. I mean, you're right on my trail. So
yeah, I'm coming after you. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Florida A&M, and so you're adjunct professor there now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you did ask me sort of where I taught.
Yeah,
so
and all the different schools that you've taught would be.
All the different schools. So actually, while I was in grad school, I taught at Purdue. And then we went to Wilberforce, and I taught at Wilberforce University in Ohio. Went back to Louisiana because I wanted to go to my alma mater. And I taught at both Baton Rouge Community College and then Southern University, from when I graduated. Then moved to Georgia and taught at Grinnell University, which was a women's college. And from there, moved to Florida, where I taught math at Florida A&M University, because then hubby wanted to return to teach at his alma mater as well. So that's kind of how we journeyed here.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
Math. So you're one of those strange people that like math.
Yes, I'm one of those amazing people that appreciate that God is a mathematician. I am.
It's true. St. Augustine said something about that, right? Like
I'm saying
thoughts of God and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you've continued throughout the pandemic to continue to do innovative student ministry. So, yeah, tell us like what that looks like, how you've done that.
Yeah, so I see Sam is saying, wait, you're an adjunct now as an elder. Yeah, I've been doing it all, Sam. I've been doing it all. What was the question? Michael, I got distracted.
How you've been doing, I'm sorry, that was probably my fault. Student ministry all throughout COVID-19. How have you sustained that? What are some things you've done?
So the first thing we started, which was really cool at the beginning of the pandemic, before anyone knew we would still be here, we did like everybody else, kind of on Zoom, and did virtual Bible studies and game nights and gatherings. And it was really cool because we were able to tap into those who had graduated they would always show up and seemed very excited that now they got to participate without actually being on campus. Here recently, we bought some property and we're waiting for it to be renovated. It hasn't been renovated yet. And my board treasurer, I credit him, had the amazing idea. He said, Latricia, why don't we put up a tent on the property? And so that tent, Michael, has been a game changer. And so we've had worship under the tent. We for the students and community, because it's on the cusp of the school, like in a perfect location with the community right behind us. And so we had lots of different people to come out. And then we had an outside movie night. And so that was really fun with a 20-foot movie screen right in front of the tent, and people came out with blankets and masks and chairs. And then we had a giveaway. We bought prepackaged meals from one of the local barbecue places and had a Friendsgiving, which was super cool because there were students and community persons. I was literally flagging down strangers like, hey, you want some food and prayer? So, yeah.
Cool.
It's been cool.
And what about some of the stuff you have done digitally as well? Like, how are you sustaining? I know that you're usually on this side of Streamyard.
Yes.
Now the roles have been reversed today. So
yes. So I'm doing both campus ministry and I pastor a local congregation. So Streamyard is my friend. We go live every Sunday, and the fun part was for me that in the beginning, Michael, nobody knew that I was doing all the mystery behind the scenes. They thought everything was actually live. I'm like, and now I'm gonna cut to the praise team. And so so that was super cool. And I get to feel like I'm a television personality. And because we have really do, and because we have different ages represented, especially at the church, we've done a lot with Zoom and breakout rooms and all of that. We've done some outdoor things with the kids in particular, and they've had lots and lots of fun. For the first time for church anniversary, we celebrated 15 and we did a fantastic voyage. And so we actually hired a DJ to come outside, and we socially distanced and danced and just had a good time. So the digital space has been great, actually. I've really enjoyed it. I tire of it, and I enjoy it. Because the other thing is the ability to reach so many people that would not normally be reached, that would not normally be able to tune in, that would not normally be able to participate, and they can still find community in that way. So that's been good. Especially with the church, because we still go live, right? And so I can see what's happening in the chats, like you're doing now, and respond to people. And so for me, it's better than pre-recording. I'm terrible with that because I like the energy of the moment and all that is happening. So there you go.
So good. So Sam's asking the question. It's actually going to lead into my next question here. So you'll be able to kind of respond to this. I think Sam has a hidden agenda here, but so you're adjunct professor at,
yes,
in the religion department at Florida A&M University, pastor of New Life United Methodist Church, pastor director of Impact at FAMU, Wesley Foundation. You've also been involved very much with kind of pioneering the safe conversations thing, and you were on the board of Wisdom's Wellspring, and now you're an author.
Yes.
So that's a lot. It's amazing. Tell us about your process for giving energy to all this work, and for all the people out here that we're living in the gig economy. Do you have any pointers for us?
All right. So for me, I think the way that God built me is I thrive best when I have lots to do. I get more done when I have a lot to do, not just because I have a lot to do, but because it feeds my energy level. Somehow, if I only have like one or two things on my plate, Michael, it's hard for them to get done because I think I have all the time in the world to get it done. And so when I have lots of things, I get to prioritize. You know, some people like that dirty word procrastination. I say that I prioritize the things that are coming up first, right? And so when I need different kinds of things to feed me, it's helpful to have many different things on my plate. You know what? It's kind of like eating a meal. Who wants to just have one thing, right? Like just salmon. I love salmon, but if I can mix it with some broccoli and some corn on the cob and then a little dessert, it makes for a fuller meal. So to Sam's point, because he asked about adjuncting, I think that in particular in campus ministry, so I'm not adjuncting this semester. I told them in January, let me take off for a moment. And so I used to teach math full-time at FAMU. And when I stopped teaching full-time, I found it so incredibly beneficial as a campus minister to stay connected in the adjunct capacity, because not only did it allow me to get to know students, but it allowed me to have access to FAMU email, right? So I know what's going on in the community of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. So Sam, how does it work with the cabinet? It works great when you make the case that because I am in campus ministry, I need to have that contact with students at a different kind of level. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
So it sounds like for you, all of that is integrated in your vocation and your calling.
It is. It's all integrated. And so the children's book, you asked about that. I was totally not planning it, Michael. So, you know, I have, and he's above me, Laughing Black Jesus, right? And he was created because I was talking about him all the time. He lived in my head. And my students actually got another student to paint him. And so the student was like, hey, you can have the rights to him. You know, this is what I'm like, what? And I feel like all of the entire world should know him because he's amazing. And actually, I was participating in MLab, right? Creativity, innovation. And one of the participants once literally said, hey, you should do a children's book on LBJ. I'm like, what? No, I don't write children's books. And then one day I sat down and wrote a children's book. And it's been fabulous.
So follow-up question, then I want to jump forward to the book and post a link where everybody can kind of find that. But just so interested in how you work kind of in all these different spaces, really. And do you think that in some ways you are kind of embodying what clergy persons are going to look like in the future?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I think it depends on the clergy person, right? Because there is also something about being able to have balance and focus. Because even though I do all of these things, I probably would not myself have chosen to be serving in two different places. It works because I work for both places, right? And so there are some ways that I do believe what it means to be clergy is shifting, it's changing, it's meaning more things, and it definitely has to be tailored to the individual. I am deeply aware that my life could be totally exhausting to somebody else, and they would not be mentally healthy and okay. And it works for me. And so, good thing that's not something I have to think of. I'll leave that to the district superintendents and bishops to figure out where people need to go.
That's so good. That's good. We have some great questions coming in, but I'm going to selfishly drill in on that a little bit because I feel like for younger clergy, you know, that are below my age, I'm now middle-aged class clergy, but
How old are you, Michael? You said, you know what? You don't have to say your age. You're up there.
I'm old. I'm a grandpa now. But
whatever, Michael.
I am. I have 4 grandkids. But the likelihood that clergy are going to retire as full-time, appointed to one church kind of situation, I think is kind of a remnant of maybe a Christendom scenario. And that almost there's going to have to be a shift, because I can tell you, every congregation I've served in my whole ministry has not really been able to afford a full-time pastor.
Right.
So that model of, the one professional who kind of takes care of the flock and, is kind of probably fading. So the idea of being co-vocational, bivocational, and having multiple, I think that clergy aren't immune to that we can expect to have multiple kind of streams and places that we're living in. So
yeah, I think it's a great thing, right? I think in United Methodism and Methodism, it's been a blessing to be able to do that. And, growing up Baptist and many people in other denominations, it was common, right, for pastors to have another job and also pastor. And what also happens, I think, when that is the case, is we get to remind the church that they are the church, right? We get to remind them that while the pastor serves a specific role, we all have a particular role. And so it is all of our responsibility to be community, to help shape each other spiritually, to have relationships with God and allow that energy. Like, this is all of us together doing ministry. So in that way, I think it's a really good and healthy transition. Yeah, I know Paul said he tried to be all things to all men, but yeah.
Yeah, Annie was a tent maker for his side gig, right? To fund.
Yeah.
Okay, so final question, and we'll take some of these amazing questions that are coming in. So in addition to all this, you're now a published author. You were actually a contributor to Bloom, Volume 1, Stories for Women to Nurture Your Growth and Water Your Soul. And now you started to get into your new book, When Jesus Laughs. But birthing a book into the world, it's such an incredible labor and an accomplishment. So can you describe your vision for the book, kind of your creative process? You started to do that a little bit.
Yes.
Why you felt you had to write this and how people can access it. And I will post the link while you do that.
Yeah, I'll say that this book kind of wrote itself in some ways. It wasn't difficult, probably because it emerged really from me in a very easy way. And my thought as I wrote it was just to put this out into the world so that people can understand the power of laughter, the power of joy, all of those things. I see you putting it up there. Probably the easiest is whenjesuslaughs.com, because there's like a song that goes with it. I immediately went to my worship person. I was like, hey, this book deserves a song. And it's a song that makes people so happy. And you can see the video when you go to the link, whenjesuslaughs.com. And my vision is that people will have joy. They will be reminded that the joy of the Lord is our strength. And it is my way of contributing to diversity and inclusion and anti-racism and all of those things as we transform our image of who Jesus is and was and can be. So for me, he's not only laughing, he has locks, right? Like me, and children can see divinity expressed in so many different ways. So one of my very best moments was when my clergy sister friend, Debbie Allen, I can say it because she posted it, her son came to her and said, can I have, because he is Asian, and he said, can I have an Asian Jesus? And someone in their community actually painted an Asian Jesus for him. And that made my heart warm because his mind was transformed by seeing divinity in a different way that reflected him. And so he was able to embrace that for himself. So yeah, it's my way of helping to transform the world one laugh at a time.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I just got it right there, the right link in the feed.
Oh, there you go.
And you did mention some of the work that you've done. You've been kind of on the front lines with anti-racism and creating, safe conversation communities and stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Anti-Racism Task Force is, a task force from by our Bishop Carter in the Florida Conference, and so it's as it says. And so I am on the accountability team. So all of the teams are working to put different things in place so we can be a conference that looks at things from not only a personal space and vantage point, but also systemically. And so how can we systemically become an anti-racist organism? Safe Conversations was a program created by Harville Hendricks and Helen Hunt. And they're a married couple. They've been in therapy, psychology for a very long time. I think he's been on Oprah Winfrey when she had the show like 17 times. Anyway, so it's starting with conversations, being safe, and teaching us how to listen deeply, how to share authentically, how to engage non-critically with each other so that we can allow our conversations to transform relationships. That's really what it's about. And it's based on principles from psychology and psychiatry, just of listening and mirroring, and how do we respond? How do we speak back to a person what they've spoken to us in these non-judgmental ways, and know that we're actually hearing what is being said in a way that we can mirror and say, you know what, that makes sense. What makes sense about it is this. And what I've learned is that many of us don't listen the way we think. I don't. And sometimes I have to concentrate really hard to listen because I'm a talker. And yet people feel the presence of divinity when they can just be heard. And heard in a way that criticism, critique, judgment, shame, blame, attack, those are not the things that follow, but a deep desire to hear and to understand. So yeah.
That's so good. In the Fresh Expressions movement, a lot of what we have to begin, is with teaching people how to listen. And those two kinds of listening, right? Primarily the listening to respond. So we're thinking about what we're going to say as the other person is sharing, and then listening to understand. Mm-hmm. And that's the closest thing to being loved is to be listened to, and that kind of starts that journey. And it's such an important skill that I think it's kind of countercultural, really. We're just not formed and wired to listen well. So
yeah. And the great thing about Safe Conversations, and my hubby and I have done workshops with other people, couples in particular. We've actually done it with campus ministry and campus ministry across campuses. And it's been really cool. But what's good is the person listening is trained to know that that is her or his role. The only response is pretty much to say, let me see if I got that. So what you're saying is, did I get that? Right? And so it is not to have a counterpoint. It is not to try to fix another person's issue. It is really to engage in deep listening and allow the other person to articulate and come to themselves and what they need, because much of what we need, the Spirit helps unfold, right, from inside of us when we have a moment to just sit and share it and be heard.
Beautiful. So we're going to take some questions here. Anybody who's joined in with us, if you have a question, you can just pop it in the comment section. And anything you've heard you want Latricia to go deeper with, or you have just a thought or a question for her, please go ahead and pop that in the comments. So the first one here, Piper's asking, have you found that your students and congregants are open and adaptable to all these new things?
I have, actually. They've been surprisingly resilient and excited about it. And I try to share the stories with enthusiasm as to why we should go a certain route. So I'm going to tell you, Piper, Michael, world. So there's a part of me, I'm going to share it, but I have this plan and desire that I haven't said to the congregation yet, but so we recently formed life groups as small groups, but we call them life group because New Life is the name of the church. And so one of the things that I would like to do is have the life groups. Right now, they're kind of inward, a way to see about each other, take care of each other. They've been very open. They meet in their ways, depending on the group. Then I would like to, at some point, begin introducing to them. Now, how can you take your life group and not just be inward, but be outward, right? Is there a kingdom service project that you might have, or a community project that you can do? How can you meet the needs of the community together? And then once they do that and get accustomed to it, I'm wondering, so what would it look like when we came back to take a couple Sundays a month and flip our idea of what it means to have a worship service, right? Which is what Fresh Expressions is. So we flip it from coming to get filled up together to coming, get our quick nourishment in order to go out into the community, or to just dream up new ways of being the church together. And so we can come to the church and then get in our groups and dream of these nice, innovative ways to do ministry. And so the meetings that really happen on the margins will become the actual focus of what it means to have Sunday service. So that's sort of a long-term thought of how things can be.
So you're kind of cultivating some fresh expressions of church.
Yes, I just haven't called it anything yet, and it's slow. So hopefully none of the church members are watching and like, that's what she's secretly up to. But if they are, it's okay. Now they'll know. And I'll call this the spirit at work in the moment.
Yeah. So you kind of are balancing New Life. It's a is it more traditional congregation, church plant? Okay.
Yep.
So
it's 15 years. We just celebrated 15 years. So yeah. And before that, it was another United Methodist Church, Ray of Hope. And so yeah, it's a more traditional congregation. So I'm balancing that with very non-traditional campus ministry, and fun things are coming out of it. Once a quarter with our United Methodist women, we do what we call intergenerational conversations, right? And bring the generations to the table to do different things, have activities, to talk, to have dinner and cook together and break off into groups and share. And so those have been really awesome.
Cool. Yeah. So you're balancing those two worlds of tradition, serving the congregation, doing these innovative things on the side, kind of a blended ecology of church, if you will.
Yes.
And they're actually giving life to each other, these
yes.
different expressions.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Are there any other questions out there?
Any questions? And then balancing all of that with family, because I do have 3 children and a husband. So then there's that. But I will be empty nesting really soon. Our son turned 18. He is in his senior year of high school. Not that mommy is excited about having an empty nest,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah, Jill and I have a different reaction to that because we raised 8 kids, in a blended family. So every time one leaves, I'm like, doing the dance break kind of thing, and she's always, bummed, like, oh. So we got a question here from no, I love my kids. I don't like to see them go.
Sam asked, when am I moving to Baton Rouge? Ask Jesus, Sam.
Sam's trying to steal you back to the Louisiana conference.
He knows I love Louisiana. That's where my mommy is. And actually, the Wesley Foundation that's at Southern University, when I was there, I told you I was like a church girl geek. And we did some things there. I was in a singing group, Women with a Vision, and we would actually have some of our rehearsals and activities over at the Wesley Foundation before I even knew what a Wesley Foundation was. So many memories. Yeah.
So cool.
Oh, Sister Dixon. Uh-oh, Sister Dixon.
Uh-oh.
So see, she said it's all good. And so New Life has actually had a history of going out into the community. So that's the good thing. Knocking on doors and celebrating Jesus and all of that. So yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Sister Dixon. That's my SPRC chairperson.
Oh, so you better be very, very nice to Sister Dixon then.
That's right. They're all nice. Yeah. And so Sam said, he did ask Jesus. He said, where you at? Sam, you're trying to get me in trouble.
Yes, trying to steal you.
Sam is trying to get me in trouble.
I already know Bishop Carter is not going to allow that to happen. So,
so yeah. But
I've got the link to your book here, everybody. So please check out this book. It's amazing. And once you check it out, you could go on Amazon and you can leave a review of how great that it is.
Yeah.
Amen.
You're so good. Amen.
So, and thank you for just your calling, your vocation, your voice, your creativity. You are truly a trailblazer, and I look up to you. I'm grateful to serve beside you.
Thank you, Michael. This has been a fun and unexpected journey. I have been grateful to be here, that I get to serve in amazing places. It's been really, really good. Oh yeah, and Sister Dixon is also one of the United Methodist Women, so she's familiar with those intergenerational conversations too.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, yeah.
The United Methodist Women run my church. I just pretend like I'm in charge.
I mean, because I consider myself a United Methodist woman, we rock. And our group, they're small and active and do all the things and keep me energized and focused. And so the best churches, I'm sure, have great United Methodist women's groups at the church. Yeah.
This is true. One of our ministers was preaching on Sunday, Dwayne, and one of the most powerful points of his sermon was, he said, "You don't mess with these United Methodist women. You don't try to tell them what to do, because they'll put you in your place." Like,
that's right.
Dwayne, he's learning.
Yes, Jill. Yes, UMW rocks. Yeah,
it does. Cool. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time today and letting us learn from you, and you're an inspiration to so many people. So please keep it up.
Thank you. This has been awesome. I appreciate the invitation. And thank y'all for listening.
Yes. Thank you, everybody who joined with us. And thank you, everybody who's going to join later. And next week, we'll have Piper Ramsey will be with us. So don't miss that one. And thank you all. Have a blessed day.
Bye.